Welcome to today's episode of Small Talk Wednesday. I'm your host, Mike Villamore, and we have a very special guest today, University of Hawaii men's volleyball head coach, Charlie Wade, coming to us from the islands. Coach, obviously, we know that you pay a lot of attention to the program and trying to make it the best that it can of making sure that your kids are graduating. But when it's just about you and what you do for enjoyment, what might people not know about you that you would want to tell them?
Well, I've got three young boys. Takes a lot of time, and certainly spending time with them and going to or being a part of their athletic endeavors and things that they like doing in the community. We have two dogs that are pretty high energy that require a lot of time out on the streets of Kailua. So people that live here in our community see me out walking the dogs a lot. And, I really just between my family and just, kind of being in our neighborhood, that takes up a lot of time. And, I really don't need much more than that. I mean, the job takes up certainly a huge chunk of time throughout the year. So when I get a chance to spend time with my family, that's a big priority.
Well, it certainly seems like a great life for you and your family over there on the island.
Yeah, no, we're blessed. There's no question that every day that I wake up and I'm just so grateful and so humbled that that we're in a position to represent the state the way we do. So, like I said, I feel very fortunate.
One of the things that I've noticed watching your team play, especially last year when I was out or in 2019, I should say, when I was out for the Big West tournament in Honolulu, was the word on the shirts of your players' jerseys. And can you describe what that word is and what that word means and how it impacts the culture of Hawaii volleyball?
Yeah, certainly. And the word on the back of the shirt is Alakai. While it is the name of one of the boys on the team, they're not all his shirts. And it was around before he got here. But Alakai is the Hawaiian word for leader. And for us, it's an acronym of the things that we want the guys focusing on, that we could spend a whole nother session on just dissecting what it all means. And it's doing your best in the classroom, and it's doing your best in the weight room, and being a good student and being a good teammate and being good in the community. So for us, those things are breaking down. It's those 6 things inside there that we want the guys focused on every day, from the time their feet hit the ground to their head hits the pillow. And, that's just kind of our path and what we're committed to.
I've heard your players are really dialed in to the culture. They're really dialed in, have fully bought into all aspects of what it means to be a member of the Hawaii volleyball team. And it seems as if the fans too appreciate all of that. They're very knowledgeable, they're very intelligent. What's that like for you to have a sold out crowd there appreciating not just the fact that you're winning on the court, but every aspect of your program? How much of a sense of pride do you take from that?
Well, it's very gratifying, like you said. And for us early on, it was the path. This was going to be our path. And if they give you the big trophy at the end of the year, that's great. But if not, we have certainly provided these young men with a skill set that's going to allow them to be successful in every facet of their life when the playing days are over. So, we've stayed committed to that path and to that kind of mantra and that lifestyle. And it is very gratifying to see the success on the court and in the classroom, to really see it come to life. And the fans have embraced it, and like I said, there is a part too where, these guys work really hard and are very appreciative of the support, but yet maintain a level of humility and respect for the game and for our opponents. And I think that resonates with Hawaii fans as well.
You have a reputation for being one of the top recruiters in the nation, if not the world. How did you gain that reputation?
Well, we hit on a few guys that had been really good, So if you bring guys in and they're no good, then you're not a good recruiter. But when the guys pan out, and I would say there's some correlation between the very specific and clear message that we've laid out for the guys. And we have, we've been fortunate over the last several years to get the level of buy-in to be near unanimous. And it just, it's kind of fed off itself. There is very much a synergistic effect to that. So the guys that have come in have done well. And we've also had, the recruiting part sounds great, but, for us too, we've taken guys both locally and domestically that weren't top recruits and that have evolved into, high level professionals after their career. And I mean, obviously they were good players while they were here in college, but they've continued that. So I think our ability to develop the players, not only as professionals and as good citizens, but as good players. I mean, they've evolved. Guys that, coming out of high school were not top recruits, end up being collegiate All-Americans and playing at the highest level. We have guys in the program right now that demonstrate that, and we have had for the last several years. So
I've also heard that, I mean, you'll go anywhere. You'll recruit the islands, you'll go to the mainland, you'll go anywhere in the world to find talent. And you've probably racked up all sorts of airline miles over the years. Do you have a favorite recruiting story, though, or a memorable one that you can think of, either on the women's or the men's side that will come to mind?
The one that I'll share that comes to mind, the way you phrase that. So I got to say it's like 2015. We have a bye week. I'm getting ready to jump on a plane to go to Amsterdam to see Stein, meet his family. So Monday morning, I'm on the first flight out, and it's Honolulu, LA, London, Amsterdam. When I land in LA, and I pretty much know this is going to play out, when I land in LA, we're ranked number 1 for the first time in like 20 years, right? So my phone is blowing up. I got media back home. I got people all over the country and alums and everybody just super stoked for the program. We're number 1 and things are going real well. And I'm waiting for my flight in LA. The upgrade clears. I get first class in the 777 from LA, London. That's 11 hours in the sleeper seat. And if you've been on that flight, it's a big difference. So I get on that plane and, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, team's ranked number 1. I'm sitting up here. This is great. About 30 minutes into the flight, I am as sick as a dog for 11 hours straight. And and looking back, like my youngest son, Keikoa, had come home and he kind of fell asleep on my chest, and he'd been to the zoo for some birthday party and caught something. But I was violently ill the entire flight. I get off the plane in Amsterdam, and I sent Stein a message in London. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make dinner tonight. Can we do it? Something. He's like, no problem. So they're still picking me up at the airport. We get to Amsterdam, and then he's like, I'm not out yet. They have lost my luggage. And they're telling me that it's on the next flight. It'll be there in the morning. My luggage showed up like 3 weeks after I was back home. And it's one of those, you're sitting there going, God, I hope this kid's good. I hope he can play. He ended up being 3-time All-American and being a pretty good player. So, I think it was worth it.
And he wasn't scared off by your appearance or anything when you had gotten to him.
No, that's about as gnarly as it's gotten. There's some others, but that one certainly sticks out.
Well, Coach, appreciate all of your time. Everybody stay tuned, however, stick around. Don't go just yet. We are going to come back for part 2 of the interview, which is going to be game version. We're going to play 2 truths and a lie, and we'll test Coach's knowledge about 2 of his favorite teams. Stay tuned.